game you can't beat Animal Crossing. Yes, you can. You get to have sex with a tiger. It's a great game. So I was about to have sex with a tiger, and I get a call from my father, Keith Banner, and he says on the phone, he says, "Hey, Victoria, do you remember your grandmother?" And that's a weird question to hear in COVID during the lockdown. And you, the audience, might be worried that my grandmother has died of COVID. That's a reasonable expectation. But the answer was no, she was already dead because she was a very old lady. I come from a long generation of oops babies. The ADHD goes through the mother's side, and we're very forever young, and we're like, I don't need a baby, I don't need it. And then we're just like, let's try this one. And so we abandon all the banners into the wind. So if my grandma was alive, she'd be 115 years old. She's very old, so she's not the one who has died of COVID in this story. And then my dad goes, "Well, do you remember your grandma's friend, Jean?" And I go, "Did Jean die of COVID?" Because we're talking about senior citizens during the lockdown. And my dad goes, "No, Jean didn't die of COVID. But do you remember your grandma's friend, Jean's son, Dean?" I go, "Aha, that's the one that has died of COVID, because he's me about 87. Did Dean die of COVID?" And my dad goes, "No, Dean didn't die of COVID." And I go, "Okay, sounds good, continue." He goes, "Well, Dean's friend died of COVID." And I go, "Is that the person who died of COVID?" He's like, "No, Dean's friend died of COVID." And he went on a little drive-by funeral, and he took his Oldsmobile on a little drive-by, a little circle-around walk. And I'm like, "Is that the story of who died of COVID?" And he's like, "No, this is not why I'm calling you." I go, "Why are you calling me?" And he goes, "You're not allowed to laugh." Which is an ominous statement in the lockdown of 2020. He goes, "You're not allowed to laugh." I go, "Okay, I will not laugh." He goes, "After the drive-by COVID funeral, your grandma's friend's Jean, son, Dean, went to one of those Shell Premium Plus super car washes, one of those super, with the disco lights, with the automatic spinny things, with the tricolor pastel foam, and then somehow he drove through the car wash and had some sort of episode of the car wash, ended up outside of his car, and he died in a car wash." Yeah, he died in a car, and I already promised that I wasn't going to laugh, and that's the funniest thing I ever heard, and I felt like a terrible person, because you're not supposed to laugh at someone having a dementia freakout in a car wash, and I have to wait until the statute of limitations was up on that joke, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do, and so I'm sitting there just giggling to myself, because I'm like, what, did he drown? Was he bludgeoned? Like, there's so many questions going on, and I just had to sit there and wait and be like, am I a terrible person? And the answer is no. There's just something inherently funny about someone just covered in tricolor foam, freaking out in the lights, charging against the windmills of the spinning things like a modern-day Don Quixote. It's a giggle laugh. Like, that's a high laugh. Like, this is a taping, so you can't see the couple dark-minded people that are cry laughing right now. Because they're trying to hold it. Because it's me that someone has died in a car wash. That's a dark joke. People go, "Don't tell that joke, it's a dark joke." And I have to be like, no, actually, it's a freakishly clean joke. So, that's how someone I know died. But I also don't think, I haven't thought about my own death. I have thought about my own death. How I know that I want to die, I don't know how I'm going to die, but I know how I want to die. A lot of people have this envision in their plan where they're lying in a deathbed as a senior citizen, and they're surrounded by their loved ones, like their friends and family. And the answer for me, absolutely not. I could not be 97 years old with the death rattles, like in a bed that goes, and then my family just around me being like, you can still go to law school. I don't want my family around me to die. And I also, I'm queer, I've got a chosen family. I don't want those people around me either because I have social anxiety and I love them too much. So I would have the death rattles, and I would see all my friends around and I'd be like, does anyone want to use the bed for a bit? I can order a pizza. So I realized that how I want to die is just alone by myself in a broom closet. Alone by myself in a broom closet. I'm going to be 97, don't worry, I have a long life. I know I give suicide vibes. I do, but no, this is a beautiful Dark by Death Cab for Cutie. And it's like, love of mine, someday you will die. And I'm like, today's the day! This is the day! I get accused of my comedy being very inaccessible because I quote the lyrics of Ben Gibbard, the lead singer of Death Cab for Cutie. And people are like, don't do that, that's not accessible comedy. Anyway, here's 45 minutes on the Nuggets, a basketball team. And so I just want to dig down on that, and I have another joke about Death Cab for Cutie, which is, one time they played the Calgary Stampede. Yeah, and I know you were all there because I was there too. Everyone, they booked the Death Cab for Cutie for a free show at the Calgary Stampede, and every single emo millennial just came down off of their like MDMA high from the night before, and they went to a Hot Topic in Lamley's Western Wear and shuffled into the hot parking lot, just like being like, I need some vitamin C. And we all gathered in the hot parking lot looking like weird goth cowboys, and Ben Gibbard came out to sing to the city of Calgary, and what he did was he was like, you and me have seen every sight to see from Bangkok to Calgary, and then the entire crowd just went, woo! And then we left, because what was Stampede? There's a thing that happens about around death. It's like on those paranormal shows, which is just Christian cable propaganda. Like that's all just Christian propaganda. But I love it. As long as the Christians are in a haunted house by themselves hunting ghosts, they can do that. That's the only place that I want them to be. And so they always do like paranormal shows. And paranormal shows, they're like, have you seen a Bigfoot? I'm like, yeah, I've seen a Bigfoot. And then I want to know more about Bigfoot, even though it's the same information. He walks like this. Like, that's... But they have to, like, fill it up somehow. And so they do both, like, Bigfoot, Nessie, and then they always have one lady, and the one lady, she's, like, always wearing too many beads, and she spikes the camera, and she goes, I predicted my own death. So, no, you didn't. You are alive on a camera right now, madam. And she tells the story. She goes, yeah, I predicted my own death. I was pregnant at the hospital, and I knew something was wrong, and so I punched out the doctor, and I punched out the nurse, and I survived my own death. And I'm just like, I wish I got a TV special every time I had an anxiety attack. There's only one person who successfully predicted their own death, and that's singer-songwriter from the 1960s, Warren Zevon. He's the guy who has the tune, like, on Top 40s, like Werewolves of London, where he's like, Werewolves of London, and that's how we know him. But he actually predicted his own death because if you listen to his B-sides, it's just hours and hours and hours of him being concerned of living next to an asbestos factory. And he was really going against the grain because in the 1970s, people loved asbestos. They were like, we love asbestos, it's the flakiest flame retardant. Put it in your walls and barely gets the score in baseball. And Warren Zevon was brave enough to speak out in his albums just being like, anyone else's lungs getting itchy. Then he died of asbestos-related complications. That is how he died. And so it's just so scary that he predicted his own death, but not as scary as if he had gotten mauled by a werewolf in London.